Good morning, Patriots. How you doing today? This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live from the downtown metropolis of Lamont, Missouri. You know, Lamont, Missouri is such a bustling metropolis that it takes approximately 2.5 minutes at 25 miles an hour to drive across town. And that's north to south. It's a lot less than that east to west on the main drag, the highway through town. And that's if, the train ain't blocking the road. Mind you, you won't hit any stop signs. And that's if you have to stop and wave at somebody too. Anyways, moving on. Hope you guys are having a great day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Marine in the Woods got the scripture of the day posted. It is Genesis 50, 18 through 21. So if you want to check that out, I'm glad you all could be here this morning as you're logging in. Say hi, where you're watching from, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow me on the other socials. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and the reactions and all that stuff that helps the algorithm. Over on Rumble is what it's all about, is the Rumble button, the thumbs up button, because they distribute the videos based upon the likes and views. Over on Facebook, they're actually changed the algorithms where your responses, your engagement, hitting the thumbs up button, hitting the like button, hitting the any reaction, even if the mad button, and also commenting and sharing and tagging people increases the algorithm. And so that helps out. I appreciate those that want to do that. Also, if you want to support the show over there on Rumble, in the chat room, then the live chat room, if you're not logged in and in the live chat room, then you don't see this. Or if you're watching on your TV or whatever, you don't see this. But right below where you chat is a little button that says subscribe. Right next to that is a little dollar sign. That's the tip jar. If you feel like leaving a buck or two. And then on Facebook, I think they allow something for that on YouTube too, but I don't use YouTube enough to care. But there's 4 people over there watching, so but I don't use it enough to care. But there's some way to contribute over there too. And I don't know if I'd ever get the money from them or not, because, well, who knows. But on Facebook, you can send stars or a penny a piece. So 100 stars is $1. That's if you feel like it, and it helps pay for the subscriptions, the several different subscriptions that I have to pay for on a monthly basis just to have the show. And I know you're like, oh, I can go live on Facebook. Yeah, but you can't go live on a couple places at Facebook, on Rumble, on YouTube, on Twitter, all at the same time, while putting picture in picture and video in video and having guests and all other stuff. That's what you have to pay for. It's not expensive, but it is not expensive for what you get. Let's just say that. I'm not complaining about it either. I'm just saying, if you want to be part, if you want to support. Another way to support the show while we're on it, while we're on the subject, and I'll get off of it because some people ask, they want to know. My mailing address is P.O. Box 71, Lamont, Missouri, 65337. If you choose to do that, would be fine with me. And if you want to buy a t-shirt, it is, take a screenshot of that. And by the way, the links, all this is in the description section of the show. And so it's www.bonfire.com/store/Patriot Mike Show 1/. Okay. Anyways. All right. Let's see. Well, we got you guys checking in all over this morning. We got Kentucky checking in. We got Arkansas checking in. Depending where you're from. It's just making fun of Arkansas, really. We got let's see here. You guys aren't putting where Spokane, Washington up early this morning. Ohio is here this morning. They're saying thanks for the mic and that. If you go watch that, boys, some of that stuff's just happened. It's still happening. It's pretty crazy how that all just kind of happens together. So, anyways, I see you checking in this morning. I appreciate it. From sea to shining sea, from coast to coast. But you guys over there on Facebook ain't putting it down. We got North Kakalaka checking in, Louisiana, Ford City, Pennsylvania. Northern Idaho, no, Idaho. We got Iowa, Texas, Georgia all checking in. We got Chattanooga checking in. Southeast Missouri checking in. That's there's some pretty country down that neck of the woods. Salt Lake City, Utah checking in. Cowpen, South Carolina, and Swazi, Indiana checking in across the country. So Dalton, Georgia is checking in. Louisiana is checking in. We have Oklahoma checking in. That's how they spelt it. I'm sorry. Southeast Missouri again. Florida, Chicago. My condolences. Another Ohio, Dallas, Texas checking in. They say go Rangers. What are they in the playoffs? I don't know. I get bored with baseball, so I only allow myself to watch one sport. Pennsylvania checking. So I appreciate y'all being out there. Thank you very much. Let's get on with the show. I'm going to start with some stuff that I've had to show you guys to talk about for the last several days, but I haven't been able to get to it, but I want to get to it. So I'm going to start with it. I'm not sure if I talked about this, if I just thought about it really hard, but I want to talk about it again. The DOJ files a notice of appeal on Proud Boy sentences. Now, let's get this straight, okay? Let's just follow. So the Department of Justice on Monday filed a notice of appeal indicating it would challenge the sentences of 5 members of the Proud Boys convicted in their roles on January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection erection in a bid to secure tougher punishment. Proud Boys leader Tarano received 22 years in prison, while members Nordine, Joe Biggs, Zachariah Ryle, and Demonic Prezzola received 18, 17, 15, and 10 years respectively. All but Prezzola convicted of seditious conspiracy, while Prezzola was acquitted on that count. The jury found him guilty on other charges. Prosecutors sought 33 years in prison for Tarino, how do you say his name? The notice of appeal did not outline the reasons and was merely the first step in the court plans, the DOJ plans. The Proud Boys are one of 2 right-wing groups that have featured heavily in the DOJ prosecutions on January 6 participants, the other being the Oath Keepers. Now, they didn't do anything with Mr. Solomon or Mr. Epps or others. So now they're appealing the sentence. They won. They locked these guys up for 20 years, and now they're appealing the sentences because it's not enough. Because it's not enough. They need more. They need to punish these people more. We can't have people standing up to this government. And then while that's going on, while that's happening, I told you about last week how Michigan is going after Give, Send, Go because they're trying to prosecute the little old ladies who signed up to be alternative electors, which every flipping opposition party in every single state does every election year. They set a extra set of electors. They're not the official electors. They don't show up and vote their electors. They're just there in case they can win in court or in case they can get Congress to stop, which we tried to do, but January 6th interfered, to make the states go back and rethink, recount, relook. They do it every single year. When the Democrats do it, it's fine. It's fine. But in Michigan, the government is trying to prosecute them. So they had Steve Bannon and some other folks had a big fundraiser, a big telethon. They raised a few $100,000 and a Give, Send, Go campaign to help pay for the attorneys to defend these little old ladies. Well, Michigan decided to go after Give, Send, Go and sent them a subpoena to get their donor list. So Give, Send, Go responded. Here it is. Give, Send, Go tells Michigan AG to pound sand, refuses to turn over names of people donating to Trump electors. The team of Banshee fishwives running the state of Michigan. Banshee fishwives. That's a pretty good description. Into the ground once again on a hormonal warpath against all things Trump. As you know, I didn't read this whole thing all the way through. As you like, you know by now, Michigan lesbian AG Dana Nessel has a singular focus, taking down anyone who voted for Donald Trump, even if they happen to be 80-year-old grandparents. Nessel is going after the Trump electors in Michigan who selfishly did all they could to stop the steal back in 2020. But she's not stopping there. Nessel is also targeting those who donated money to the legal defense of elderly electors. Fortunately, the good people Gives Him Go have told Dana Nessel and her Michigan harpies to take a hike. Attorney Joshua Blanchard, a veteran criminal defense attorney in Michigan, commented on a particular nature of this request and its impact on the case. I've never had the government demand to know who's paying my bill, Blanchard said. One could fairly look at this from the outside and wonder if this is just trying to harass the folks who are defending the false electors, he added. Gives Him Go responded to the news of the reports and claimed they would not be complying with the request from AG Nessel's office. We are aware of the reports regarding a search warrant at Gives Him Go. We value the privacy of our givers and users and will protect it. Our founders have made it clear that we have not complied with these illegal search warrants, viewing them as overreaches and invasions of privacy. We are committed to challenging and resisting any such demands that compromise the privacy and trust of our community. We'll continue to uphold the values of our platform that our platform is built upon and our mission to share the hope of Jesus through crowdfunding. That's what Gives Him Go said in a statement. So the government's now going after them. Look, this is not about justice. This is not about right and wrong. This is about destroying your opposition. This is about scaring you into voting for Joe Biden instead of Trump. Oh gosh, if we don't vote for Joe Biden, they'll get our records and they'll come after us. That's what this is about. And I know there's a lot of other things to talk about, but I'm going somewhere with this. Let me just mention, as I look over, Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 103. NASDAQ's down 98. S&P 500 is down 22. It says Morgan Stanley shares fall 5% as wealth management results disappoint. Morgan Stanley's in trouble, by the way. But what really blows my mind is gold is up $30 right now. Gold is spiking through the roof. So is oil. But hey, it's at 1966.7. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. For the last, I don't know how many years. Now, when I first started studying economics and thinking about economics and reading books on economics, the prevailing wisdom in the mid-90s was when the stock market goes down, gold goes up. When the stock market goes up, gold goes down. But for the last 25 years, they've been going up and down together. Why? Because they're both manipulated by the powers that be. Through short sales, through derivatives, through however they're doing it. But now we have the stock market tanking and gold going up. Interesting anomaly. I'm just saying. Just putting that out there. We'll continue. We'll get back to that in a minute. But I wanted to talk. So you have you have them appealing the charges of the Proud Boys because they didn't send. I mean, have you ever heard of that before? Where they didn't get, maybe in a little local case, but on a national case like this, I've never heard it. Never heard it. You got Michigan going after Gives Him Go. And then you have this coming out from Alphabet, YouTube owner. YouTube offers re-education for rule breakers. I've been streaming on since this story came out the other day. It came out in August, but I didn't know about it till the other day. And they let me back on. I've been streaming every single day. If you notice, been streaming every single day on YouTube. Send me to re-education camp. We'll see how that works out. YouTube announced Tuesday that it will begin offering re-education to content creators who violate company's policy and will grant clemency to those who complete the course. Until this week, YouTube creators who break the rules have been subject to the company's 3-strike policy. And now let me tell you how the 3-strike policy works, because I can tell you exactly how it works. They go back to your videos that are 5-6 years old, and they say, well, your content was removed and you received a strike. Well, what did I do to remove that? I mean, one of the Mike at Night that I did last night, 2 of my strikes that got my page taken down were from those kind of videos where I just played preachers and prophets. They didn't like talk about Jesus. That's what they didn't like. And I got my page completely taken down until I threw a fit, because they still wanted me to pay them their premium for their premium services, which I'm not going to pay. And then all of a sudden my page was back up. Like, this $12 a month. I mean, do you need it that bad? Are you that broke? Anyways, I digress. Back to the story. But that's how they do it. They take a video down, but they don't tell you why. And you get a strike. You're bad. What did I do that was bad? Tell me. You see, and there's no recourse. There's no messaging. There's no nothing. I have never been able to send YouTube a message until I got this thing saying they wanted their money for their premium services. Until this week, YouTube creators who break the rules have been subject to the company's 3-strike policy, in which they receive a warning before each strike and are booted off the platform after 3 strikes. One of the things I think is happening here also is they've kicked a lot of big, huge producers of content off, and they've gone other places. And I think they're starting to feel the pinch. But the video streaming giant is now offering creators who receive warnings a chance to redeem themselves by taking re-education courses in which they could be taught how to better comply with the rules that YouTube doesn't tell you anything about. Those who take the classes and remain compliant for the next 90 days will not receive a strike on their record. Starting today, creators will have the option of taking an educational training course when they receive the community guidelines warning, YouTube wrote in a blog post on Tuesday. I'll probably have to go to re-education just for this story. These resources will provide new ways of creators to understand how they can avoid uploading their content. If they ever send it to me, I might go do it. And then I'll play the video and I'll live stream it. So y'all can see. To understand how they can avoid uploading content that violates our policies in the future. Completion of the course will lift the warning from the creator's channel, so long as they don't violate the same policy in 90 days. Dum, dum, dum. The company says most content creators upload content to the platform in good faith. Yeah, because, we do it on purpose. Actually, I'm doing it on purpose, but, and believes educational efforts are successful at reducing the number of creators who unintentionally violate our policies. Now, I'm not intentionally trying to violate the policies. I just know that their policies are so ambiguous that when they want to shut me up, they will. Most creators are good and actually want to comply with our policies if they knew what the hell they were, said YouTube VP Production Development Jennifer Fannery O'Connor. This literally sounds like a Babylon Bee episode. I mean, does it not? In a video explaining the new policy, most creators are good and just want to play by the rules, she said. Creators who have already been deplatformed, however, will still not be allowed back. Then how come you let me back? Huh? If you violated our policies 3 times and your channel was terminated, this is not going to provide you a path to YouTube. So why'd you let me back, YouTube? Did you need that $12 that bad? Because, by the way, I'm still not paying it. Not going to do it. I will never give you. I'll watch the flipping commercials. I'll never pay you another dime in my entire existence, ever. Not going to happen. Not going to do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me what you do or how you do it or why you cry about it. You can have all your tears you want to have. I'm still not doing it. Still not doing it. Still not doing it. I don't care. I forgot something I wanted to add, but we'll get to that in a minute. So here is here is the coup d'etat of what's going on. You're not going to believe this. Gateway Pundit reporting. So we got YouTube sending us to re-education camps. You got the DOJ trying to get more years to January 6th people. Mind you, the leader of the Proud Boys, a Torino guy, he wasn't even there. He was arrested in another state. He wasn't even there. He's still sitting 20 years in prison. That's amazing. But here is the ironies of all ironies. This is the ironies of all ironies. Orwellian ironies. The left is now trying to cancel George Orwell. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The left has pushed the world to nearly 1984 levels with its authoritarianism, but apparently they don't want people to know what was in the book that warned people not to do that. Could they possibly cancel George Orwell? I mean, really? It sure looks like they're trying. You can't make this stuff up. From the Telegraph via MSN. George Orwell was a sadistic, misogynistic, homophobic, and sometimes violent man who wrote women out of his story, according to a biographer of his wife. Now, I've read 1984. One of the lead characters in the story is a woman. And a founder said that Orwell was a brilliant writer, but complicated man whose personal life was at odds with the decency of his writing. Now, 1984 was not a decency type story. It was dark. So I don't know where he gets this from. She has produced a biography of Eileen O'Shaughnessy, Orwell's wife, highlighting the contributions O'Shaughnessy made to his work, including helping him write Animal Farm. According to which, by the way, my soon-to-be 16-year-old daughter, sophomore in high school, came home the other day and she said, I don't remember what class, but she says, Dad, I have to read this book called Animal Farm. And I said, really? And I said, all animals are equal. Just some are more equal than others. She looked at me with a dumbfounded look on her face. And I said, well, how far you gotten in the book yet? She said, well, we've only read the first chapter. I said, oh, you'll get it at the end. Yes. That's a good book. Excellent book. I said, if you want to cheat, there's a cartoon on YouTube you can watch. She goes, really? I said, yeah, but read the book. It's a good book. Anyways, according to the founder, the darkness that runs through 1984 is a reflection of Orwell's soul. Decency is such a core Orwellian value. I don't think that's what you get out of it. 1984 is not decency. He writes about it. It's a quantity of paroles in 1984 that is going to save us. He wanted to be decent, to be seen as decent, but but the decent that they talk about in 1984 by our standards today is not even close. So let's continue the story down here a little bit. So people's reactions to it is, the Ministry of Truth is attempting now to cancel George Orwell. It's all worse than we could have imagined. I mean, Orwell can't even stand what's going on here. Orwell was right. Now do you see how it works yet? Boy, did I call it or what, says Orwell. Perhaps we should urge more people to read Orwell's works instead of focusing on why it was problematic. That's right. He's a sexist, bigoted, right-wing mega creephead. We need to get rid of him. We can't let our young skulls full of mush, the rush, read that stuff. They might start thinking things we don't want them to think. Can't have that. You're only allowed to think the thoughts that we allow you to think. And those are that our dear leader, Joe Robinette Biden, our dear leader, is the most competent, most handsome, most rugged, most powerful leader we've ever had in our entire life. And he can describe America in one word. Anyways, on to the economy. So I asked them questions. Why are stocks up? Why is oil not going down? Why is oil going down instead of going up? Things didn't make sense. We have war breaking out all over the place. The stock market should react negatively to that. Oil should be going through the roof, but it's not. And Peter Sage Unge has an answer. Here it is.
In case you're wondering, I'm shooting from Tokyo these next couple weeks. Back in the real world, it is a mixed bag. The bad news is we got yet another World War III. The good news is stocks are soaring. This, of course, strikes many people as odd, as it should. Why is catastrophe so good for stocks? And the answer is simple: Jerome's money printers. A few days ago, I walked through some possible scenarios for markets after the attacks on Israel, using what happened our last surprise war when Mr. Putin invaded Ukraine, along with what happened last time we had raging inflation and widespread war in the Middle East in the 1970s. I noted in both cases that stocks crashed, oil soared, and both gold and the dollar went up as money fled to safety. So here we are 10 days after the attack, and so far most of that did happen. Gold is up 6%, which is quite a bit. Oil is up 7%, and the dollar is up, albeit a measly 0.5%. The one that very much did not happen is stocks. In fact, they went up a lot, 600 points on the Dow and almost 100 on the S&P, so that's good for roughly 2%, which is quite a bit for just over a week. That's about a 91% gain annualized. So why did stocks buck the trend? And the answer is simple: the Federal Reserve. The Monday after the attacks, stocks initially plunged in the morning, but then they saw the light from St. Jerome with what Barron's magazine called, quote, dovish rumblings by Fed officials Logan and Jefferson, who dutifully marched out to announce that after deep and careful thought, the Federal Reserve has now realized that perhaps rates can be lower after all. So there are two lessons from this. First, the entire global economy is the Fed's plaything. War, pestilence, alien invasion, it all falls to the mighty money printer that, of course, eats your life savings. Second, this explains why the Fed, in fact, why Washington, so bravely soldiers on through swinging scimitars, snapping crocodiles, fire-breathing dragons, because it knows that it can shoot untold trillions of your life savings at any crisis that comes along. Yes, even the crises the Fed creates, like, say, raining down $6 trillion to buy totalitarian lockdowns, immediately followed by the tightest strangle in 50 years that sucker punched a banking system that had gored like fat leeches upon the cheap money. So all of it, the wars, the lockdowns, the gorged leeches, bowed to the continent-sized counterfeiting machine we lovingly call the Federal Reserve balance sheet, which at the moment stands ready to flood Earth with that true opiate of the masses, paper money. Every crisis converted into inflation, lovingly sugar-coated and greedy grocers, grabby workers, Mr. Putin's wars, until the masses settle down and open wide for the next dose. Now, all of this runs on your money, naturally, diluting your life savings from the rich stew when you earned it into a thin gruel that hopefully keeps you alive in your twilight years. So what is next? Brought to you by Unchained. The Fed, as always, is playing with fire. By neutralizing each crisis, tranquilizing the public into thinking all of it is free, the Fed is setting up yet more inflation, which, given past form, it will crush the productive economy to fight, since the Fed will always choose rate hikes over federal spending cuts. As for the Middle East, everything depends how wide the conflict spreads, but far beyond the Middle East, expect an endless parade of crises, all of them financed by your life savings courtesy of the Federal Reserve. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Teresa says, what is this life savings he speaks of? Well, yeah, there's that. Oh. So basically what he said is what I've been saying. It's manipulated. It's totally manipulated. The Fed came out as the war broke out and said, oh, maybe we can. They didn't say they were going to. They said, oh, maybe, just maybe, we'll think about not raising interest rates and the often just come out and manipulate the market with your words. I mean, that should be a crime. That should be a crime in itself. It really should. But alas, it isn't. And they get out there and they manipulate and they lie and they create problems for us that we have to pay for, that we get stuck with. And they tax the living crap out of us so they can spin. Listen to this.
All your money is taxed. You pay a federal tax, you pay a state tax. You got to work 6-7 months out of the year just to pay your taxes. The government is very kind to let you keep the other 5 months. But then that money that's already been taxed, you got to pay a sales tax. When you buy anything, you got to pay a gas tax. You own your property, but not really. They tax your property. It's amazing to me how all these people get in the government and they think, oh gosh, okay, now I'm a senator. What should I do? Okay, I need to come up with a way to steal more money from the general population. And that's all they do. I tell politicians all the time, getting rid of taxes is still doing something. You and I and everybody else knows how to spend their money better than the government does. And I guarantee you that we would still give and help people out that needed help. We're far more generous with our money than the government is. And you're right, the government produces nothing. Ronald Reagan, one of his many great quotes was, these are the greatest words to fear.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
They're not there to help. They're there to make your life more miserable and control. And that's all they want to do. They love their power and they're not going to give up their power. And we're giving them more and more power all the time.
Yep. Mark asks a question, says, why can't Trump become Speaker of our country? Well, you mean Speaker of the House? Because the House would have to vote for him. So call your congressman. Tell him what you want. That's where it would start. I think every state in the union is represented here. Call your congressman. Say, we want Trump. Someone would have to nominate him. He would have to accept. And then they would have to vote on it. And then he would be Speaker. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, God's doing a lot of strange things right now, so anything can happen. So just shut up and pay your taxes. Big controversy going on over there in Gaza about a hospital being bombed, and this person had it just about right. I don't know who bombed that hospital, but I know who paid for it. The U.S. taxpayer. That's the truth. No matter how you look at it. Here's another story. Yesterday we talked about how the Bank of Japan owned 53% of the debt in Japan. That's like our Fed owning 53%, and they're not near that, but they're getting closer every day. At least what they tell us of the debt in the United States. This is Venezuela. This is Argentina. This is Zimbabwe territory. Well, today, after finding out that 53% of the debt is owned by the Bank of Japan, the Bank of Japan announces a unscheduled bond buying operation. Stuff is starting to break, says Zero Hedge. An unscheduled bond buying operation, meaning they're going to buy, so instead of 53, they're going to own 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. Let's get to 100% of the debt. Why not? We'll just own all of our debt. Japan's economy is on the brink. How long before Japan starts needing liquidity and starts dumping American bonds? They're the second largest holder. I think they're the largest holder of bonds, and China's the second largest. It's vice versa. What happens when they start doing that? Not because they want to be mean to the United States, but because they have to have liquidity to save their country. Could be interesting. But the good news is the IRS will officially launch a free online tax filing service for 2024 tax season. Per More Perfect Union, taxpayers in up to 13 states will be able to join the pilot program. Oh, by the way, you remember last year where if you made any money online or you transferred money via Venmo or you got a little bit of money from friends and families on PayPal, you had to report. You sold some junk out of your basement on Este. You had to report that and pay taxes on it. You remember that? And then right at the last minute they postponed it. They said, "Okay, we're going to stop this," because all the big corporations came to them and said, "Wait a second, we're about to get screwed. We can't do this. It's not there. It's not set up. We can't help us." And the IRS delayed it for another year. Well, the year's almost up. The jig is almost up. And now they launched a free online tax filing service. Yeah. There's no good down here anymore. It's all doom and gloom. Depends on your perspective, my friend. My perspective is that this is not doom and gloom. This is an opportunity. If you're in the right position, the collapse of the economy will make you rich. Depends on your mindset. You want to be Mr. Potter. You want to be the guy selling in the panic. Not selling in the panic, excuse me. Buying in the panic, not selling. But if you haven't lived your life preparing for that, then, Gold Telegraph is reporting breaking news. The Bank of America has reported unrealized losses of $131.6 billion on securities in the third quarter. That's not total. That's just the third quarter unrealized losses. What are unrealized losses? These are their bonds. These are their loans. Their 1%, 2%, 3% loans that they made that they're losing their shirts on now. These are the bonds, the federal treasuries that they bought that were paying 1%, 2%. That if they were to sell them today, they would lose their shirts on because they aren't worth anything because everybody's buying the new bonds that are at 5%. Why would you? So again, this applies the same as when we were talking about Japan a minute ago. When Bank of America needs liquidity, they're going to turn to your house. Read your fine print. They can foreclose on your house anytime. They're going to turn to your cars. They're going to call notes, and they're going to dump their bonds at a loss. Then it will no longer be an unrealized loss. It will be a realized loss. Now, here's the thing. If they have a mortgage out there, they have a $490,000 average home mortgage out there at 2%, it would behoove them. You miss one payment, it would behoove them to foreclose on you and take that piece of property and sell it to somebody else. Give them a good deal. Finance it at 6%. It would make more sense now, wouldn't it? Now, you get screwed, but they don't care about you anyways. I mean, that's obvious. Here's a let's see. Oh, no, I'm in the wrong place. Okay. All right, more economic news. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. So oil, of course, oil's up $1.32 today. It's at 87.96 right now. So oil's up. Gold is at 1968. It's going up and down at around 1969, 1970, 1971. So it's up and down at that point. That probably is where it's going to end up, unless there's another spike. But here is an interesting one. Oil freight surge. What is this? It says oil freight surge since Hamas attack. Now, it couldn't get the stock market to go up, but other things that they don't control. In the week following the Hamas attack on Israel, the oil transportation costs surged on almost all major trade routes. According to the data from Baltic Exchange in London, freight rates on 16 global trade routes rose by 50% on average compared to 9 October. So you have global shipping rates for oil has gone through the roof. Well, that's going to cause your gasoline to go through the roof. I mean, it is what it is. And then there's this one. This is Mike Lee posted this. Mom and Dad, what's Bidenomics? And this says, cooking $70 worth of food in 2023. Yeah. I went to the grocery store the other day, spent $200, got 4 bags. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Trying to eat a little healthier. You can go out and buy all the junk food you want, but even that's expensive. Went into the Casey's, which is the convenience store, the gas station convenience store here in Lamont, Missouri, and a soda pop were on sale. 2 16. You remember when the soda pop used to be 20 ounce? You remember back when I was a kid, you'd get the glass bottle and it was 20 ounce? I thought I was losing my mind. They're 16 ounce now. So 2 16 ounce plastic soda pop bottles on sale for $4.25. Buy one, get one free, $4.25. That's crazy. I mean, I don't drink a lot of soda pop. I just saw the price. I've cut myself way back on soda pop. I used to drink a lot of it, and I don't drink much of it at all anymore. But once in a while, I like to enjoy a Dr. Pepper. But not for that price. I'll pass. I'll pass on that price. I'm not interested. There's 2 ways to enslave a country. There's 2 ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by sword. The other is by debt. John Adams. And we are going. I remember when a 2 liter was 99 cents. I remember when a 2 liter was 79 cents. But what do I know? Now, here's an interesting one. Since we're on the subject of electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles are being framed as the future of transportation. It ties to the new worldview where electric semi-trucks will ship our goods, boats with parachutes keep maritime trade going, and we all enjoy the freedom of the road with our EVs while keeping in line with the United Nations programs for so-called net zero. But of course, those electric vehicles also need to be charged. The largest charging station in the world is located in Harris Ranch. It's Tesla's supercharged station in California. And reports have now found that the electric vehicle charging station is being charged by hidden diesel generators. Here to speak to us about it is energy writer and policy analyst David Blackman. David, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So, David, is this EV station really being charged by diesel generators?
Yeah, in part. The San Francisco Chronicle did an expose on it, and of course the San Francisco Chronicle is a pretty liberal newspaper, and so they found that this charging station has 98 high-speed Tesla chargers. There's a diesel generating plant located behind the Shell station that's adjacent to the chargers, and it's providing power to obviously, of course, people think, I guess they think the power comes from just the sky or something, and but something has to generate the electricity that enables those chargers to recharge those batteries. And Tesla operates this charging station and decided they needed that diesel generating plant, and they strategically located it behind the Shell station.
You gotta make sure you at least give them like the peace of mind that it's all electric, right? I mean, are these things common? I mean, is it just this one station, or do a lot of them have like hidden diesel generators?
This industry is going through a lot of growing pains. The infrastructure just is not there. And Tesla's way out in front of all these other car makers in the EV space here in the United States, and is doing whatever it needs to do to ensure electricity goes to these chargers, so that the drivers that in California, who is the biggest market for Tesla and their automobiles, they want to make sure they can charge their cars as they're driving through the Central Valley. And the diesel generators are doing the job.
So there you have it. You can go charge your Tesla with diesel fuel. But there's a reason for all this, by the way. There's a reason that they want this to happen. Here's a little video. Think about this.
They tell you the water's rising when they own beachfront homes. They scream global warming when they're flying in private jets. They tell you save the environment when they're using child labor to dig up cobalt. Because you're much easier to control when your life depends on electricity.
Because you're much easier to control when your life depends on electricity. If you're heating your home with wood, you have a well in your backyard, and they shut the power off, you're doing fine. You'll survive. But if your heat and your cool and your water and everything comes from electricity, and they shut your electricity off because, I will not comply, yes, you will. Think about it. And then there's this story. I found this story to be delicious. CDC says just 2% of Americans received the new Pokidoke. Pfizer undergoes $3.5 billion in cost-cutting measures as sales for the Rona products plummet. Oh, darn the luck. We got Walgreens and CVS and Rite Aid are all in financial trouble because they were dependent upon the millions and millions, if not billions and billions of dollars from the federal taxpayer, just like Pfizer. And now it's all going away because people are looking at this going, oh, what, another variant? We've seen this before. People are just not responding to it anymore. So what do? Well, we blow up a hospital in Gaza. We'll get to that in a minute. I think that everything that they're saying on the news right now about that is not true. And then there's this. You remember yesterday or the day before, I talked about how the government is saying that by 2025 or 2030, which was it? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. That if things stay the same, if things stay constant the way they are right now, we will be paying more in interest than we will for defense. Remember I said that? I said that's not true, that it's accelerating faster and faster, and it'll be here before you know it if it's not already here. Huh. Yeah, unusual whales. U.S. government is currently spending more to pay interest on the $33 trillion national debt than it does on national defense per U.S. Treasury. Well, by golly, that took 2 days. It's accelerating. You see, when you get to the point in your life that you have to take out a credit card to make the interest payment on the other credit cards, it's over. It's called bankruptcy. Only governments don't go bankrupt. They go to war. Hello. Just saying. They don't go bankrupt. They go to war. Speaking of going to war, over the weekend, it had come out that the U.S. has provided, they go 160 kilometers. The U.S. has provided Ukraine with long-range ATACMS. Is that how you say the acronym? I don't know what it stands for. Somebody in here, I haven't looked it up yet. What is the ATACAM? Government always uses, the military always uses, they call them things. Anyways, algorithms. No, you get the point. You know the drill. Come on, man. No joke. Anyways, U.S. provided these ATACMS to, or I don't know how do they say it? I don't know how they say it. Anyways, long-range missiles, sources say. Then immediately, acronyms. Thank you. I knew the word. I just was right there. Somebody tell me what are these missiles? Somebody tell me what the military, see, because that's a acronym, so it stands for something. It describes the missile. So somebody tell me, somebody knows out there. Acronyms, that's how they say it. Acronyms. How do you get acronyms out of that? Oh, that's how you say the other word. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not the word. You guys are all telling me how to say that word. I want to know what the ATACMS stands for. That's what I want to know. So here's, shortly after receiving these missiles, here is Ukraine putting them to work. So there's Ukraine putting them to work. And this says right here, White House clarified that it had transferred ATACMS missiles with the range of 165 kilometers to Ukraine. It is claimed that they will significantly increase the combat potential of the armed forces of Ukraine. In Kiev itself, they have already happily answered. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine, Valery whatever, boasted in a video, blah, blah, blah. Here he is. Another take at cheating money systems. I wanted the real name, Roman, but that's good. Army Tactical Missile Systems. Really? That's what Marine in the Woods says. That's why I was saying it right. Pronounced whatever. ATAMS, whatever. A tactical ballistic missile manufactured in the U.S. defense company Lockheed Martin. So it's probably made right out there in Palmdale, California. It uses solid propellant. Is 13 feet or 4 meters high, at 24 inches wide, goes 610 millimeters in diameter, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Army Tactical Missile Systems is what it's called. So they launched these. Now, the thing is, they gave them to them. They snuck them over there. They stuck them over there, according to the administration, in order to be secret, top secret, 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 secret. We didn't want the Ruskies to know about it. They snuck them over there and then used them to launch an attack on a helicopter and supply port inside of Russia. So we sneakied tactical missiles into Ukraine, and Ukraine immediately attacked Russia inside Russia with our missiles. Do you think maybe Russia might be upset about that? I mean, let's start World War III while we're at it. Here is Russia as their little helicopter airport gets attacked. Those missiles that you just saw flying, here's Russia reporting the debris. These are the missile bodies with American writing and documentations on it. Says guided missile surface attack right there. Because, you know, we mark everything. Says looked up MGM-140 Army Tactical Missile System is a tactical ballistic missile manufactured by defense company Lockheed Martin. That's what just 190 miles is how far they fly. So they used, looks like a hot water tank. Well, you know, budget cuts. They got to spend that $1 trillion, 10% for the big guy. They used these immediately to attack Russia. Now, okay, fine. I mean, it is what it is. The point being, I'm not so sure that this is a good idea. I mean, what if Russia decides they want to launch some missiles into our direction, you know, to prevent the BS from happening or something? And then, of course, we have Israel. Israel asked the U.S. for $10 billion in emergency military aid. Senate majority leader, Chucky Schumer confirmed that lawmakers are discussing offering Israel ammunition for the Iron Dome missile defense systems, precision-guided bombs, and JDAM kits to turn standard bombs into guided bombs. Yay! So Israel's asking for $10 billion in emergency aid to help them with their troubles over there in Ukraine, or excuse me, in Israel, with Hamas, with the rest of the Arab world's about to invade them. We'll get into that in a minute. I'm looking for So Israel asked for $10 billion. But Joe Biden, not to be outdone 10% for the big guy, says 10% of 10 billion is a billion. That's not enough. I need more. I've got more vacation homes to buy, more Corvettes to buy, and more documents to stash. So the White House asked Congress for $100 billion for Ukraine and Israel and border security. So they're going to give, I don't know, they're going to give a few $100,000 to border security, and the rest of it to the money hole that is the military industrial complex, 10% for the big guy. Don't forget Nancy Pelosi. She's not going to her fair share. So, yeah, they asked for 10. Joe says that ain't enough. By golly, we can do it. We could do it. We can pump this thing for all it's worth. 100. Do I hear $100 billion? Do I hear $200 billion? Do I hear $1 trillion? Why not $10 trillion? Just imagine if we could send Ukraine and Israel $10 trillion, we could change this world. We just print it. It's fine. It's what we're doing now anyways. What difference does it make? If you just print your way out of debt, what difference does it make? Speaking of Joe Biden, he flew over to Israel yesterday and last night. So he's over in Israel. He was supposed to meet up with a bunch of Arab leaders and shake hands and kumbaya with them. But after the hospital got blown up, they canceled on him. That's right. They stood him up. Leaders from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Egypt stood up the president of the United States of America after he was already in the air on his way over there. Because I get no respect. No respect. Yet he still shows up to meet with Bibi Netanyahu. And here he is coming down the short steps on the short bus of Air Force One. And ladies and gentlemen, the question is, will he make it? That's right. Reporting from the Olympics in the second or third attempt in the descent of the stairs, can Joe Biden successfully make it down the stairs one more time? We shall see. We shall see. All right, quiet as he attempts the vaunted de-escalation of the stairs. Everybody, here we go. That's up. That's it. What form? What grace? Yes! Yes, he made it. He made it. Look at the congratulatory hug from Bibi Netanyahu. He says, my God, I don't think you made it down. I didn't think you'd make it down them steps. Holy cow, he did it. He didn't even slip once. It's amazing. Joe Biden made it down the stairs. Everybody cheer for Joe Biden. Yay! Everything is awesome. He did it, guys. I can't believe it. Joe made it down the stairs. Oh, yes. No more grouping bills, somebody says. All standalone bills. Yeah, wouldn't that be wonderful? What a panacea that would be. By the way, Jordan didn't make it in. They're looking for somebody to group the bills together. So Joe's over there. And, of course, the media starts asking about what they need to talk about. And that is how Israel blew up the hospital and killed 70,000 gazillion children. News at 11, women and children hardest hit. And here's Joe's response.
I was deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you. But there's a lot of people out there not sure. So we got to overcome a lot of things.
So I'm deeply saddened by the hospital, and there's a lot of people out there that they're saying that it was you, but I think it was the other team. So there's a lot of my medicine. Here we got. Hey, where's Hunter Biden with the crack cocaine? I need a hit. I mean, come on. This is the leader of the free world. Of course, he got dissed by the world. They don't give a rip. He shows up over there. Could you imagine them doing that to Trump? Trump would be like, fine, you're not going to show up and talk to me? I cut you off. You get nothing in your Christmas stocking. I tell you what. Nothing. So Joe Biden, you know, this is just perfect. This just sums up Joe Biden right here.
Describe America to me in one single word.
Well, for me, I guess home.
Fair enough. This is how President Biden described America in one word.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
Could you please tell me what that word means?
I'm not in the habit of trying to read transcriptions.
I bring this up to you, sir, because you yourself questioned Donald Trump's mental state of mind in September of 2019 when you stated to CNN, I quote, "If our presidency is not in good shape, then our country is not in good shape." And Mr. Secretary, I could not agree with you more.
If our president's not in good shape, you notice how they ranted and raved and threw temper fits and jumped up and down about Donald Trump. 25th Amendment, Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. Well, none of it was true. They made it all up. They usually do. You know, like that lady, Donald Trump tried to get the steering wheel away from the Secret Service. Donald Trump comes out, I wish I was man enough to take on the Secret Service agent. He's like, that's not going to happen. Then there's this video.
Essentially saying this is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does.
I never imagined how quickly this would all unfold. The person they sold on the campaign, the nice old, moderate grandpa who just wanted to help everybody get along and compromise, is not what we got over the last year. He has no mandate really to do much of anything. It's amazing that he got a couple of things done when the mandate was really simply replace Donald Trump and don't do anything drastic or stupid. And everything about this agenda is extremely drastic. And he's been angrier than I think people expected. He's been more divisive. He's been more partisan. You look at the issues. We built 5 years of coverage on Trump out of Russia, COVID, and democracy. The president at his press conference invites Russia to invade the Ukraine. We got more deaths under Biden than Trump. And now we have the president and vice president and leading Democrats question the legitimacy of the 2022 election. Are we any better off on these three issues that we crucified Trump over? I think he has a lot of political problems. And an AP poll came out this morning. Only 28% of Americans want the sitting president to run for re-election, and fewer than half of Democrats. This is a disaster.
It's a disaster. Everybody knows it. CNN knows it. Everybody knows it. They're going to cover it up as much as they can, but they know it's a mess. Not Hamas, a mess. It's a disaster. And speaking of disasters, we've had a disaster happen. Here is video of the hospital being bombed. The media immediately pounced on this and tried to stir the pots and the fires of World War III by saying, look what Israel did. That was the consensus all day long yesterday. It caused ramifications around the world. Here's the video. Abu snack bar. The Agbu snack bar, they serve pork. More videos. Now, mind you, the hospital blew up and killed 70 gazillion children. Mind you that. But what do you see in the picture here? Does that look like the hospital or something else? It says, breaking, local officials reported to have been the failure to launch. Breaking, reports suggest that the mass casualty event at the Baptist Hospital in Gaza City, that's not the name they keep saying on CNN, was the result of a misfired rocket by Hamas. Agbu snack bar. They got great bacon sandwiches there. The story was that Israel intentionally bombed a hospital full of children, and they had video of children during the daytime. This happened at night. All kinds of propaganda, all kinds of stuff going on. And you have to wonder, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they all reported on it. I've got some video from CNN. Here's CNN. Here's CNN. Bated breath. Can't wait to report on it. Listen to this. The story's already starting to come out that maybe it was not what we've been told. Even last night at 11:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or whatever. I don't know. It says Israel time there. So, oops, hit the wrong button. Here we go.
Well, this is an absolutely
this is MSNBC, not CNN. Sorry.
really clear. NBC News is not able to get into Gaza right now. The Israeli border is sealed. The Egyptian border is sealed. Our teams are not able to get there and to verify this directly. We should also...
So they're showing pictures, all these pictures, but we're not able to get there directly. So we have no idea if these pictures came from this. These are just the pictures that Hamas sent us. You know, Al Jazeera sent us, wherever they got it. By the way, Al Jazeera was already reporting that it wasn't as they said. But MSNBC's never let a crisis go to waste. We don't have any idea, but we're reporting it anyway.
That the Israeli military at this point is not providing any evidence to back up its claims that this was a Palestinian.
And neither is Hamas.
They are citing intelligence that they have not yet made public.
Wait. They blew up the hospital. There's an ambulance outside the hospital. But I thought the hospital was blown up.
Say that this kind of death toll is not what you normally associate with Palestinian rockets. These rockets are dangerous. They are deadly. They do not tend to kill hundreds of people in a single strike in the way.
No. Here's some more.
Tend to kill hundreds of people in a single strike in the way that Israeli high explosives, especially these bunker buster bombs that are used to target these Hamas tunnels under Gaza City, do have the potential to kill hundreds of people. And we should say finally that there are instances in the past where the Israeli military has said things in the immediate aftermath of an incident that have turned out not to be true in the long run. And the one example I'll give you is that when the Al Jazeera journalist Shireen Abu Akleh was killed in the occupied West Bank, the Israeli military initially said that she was killed by Palestinian gunmen, and it was only months and months later that they admitted that it was likely an Israeli soldier who fired the fatal shot. So we...
Oh, yeah. So it's all Israel. It's all Israel all the time. You know, they got these, look at, here they are coming in with all the injuries.
Fired the fatal.
Look at this. All the children, look at it. Children, all the children are killed. Look at this. We got one guy in the background. We got this guy coming in and this guy coming in. That's it. The rest of them are just regular dudes standing around. You notice that? Dudes in uniform. But where's the cheering? Oh my goodness. It's terrible. It's terrible. CNN reporting. Fox News, to get it not to be outdone, Fox News wanted to get in on the act. I know it's around here somewhere. Fox News. There it is. Number 25. Fox. I got 2 or 3 different Fox Newses, and I want to make sure I get the right Fox News. Here's Fox News getting in on the act. Can't confirm where the strikes came from.
Are more people still trapped under the rubble there? I want to be really specific. Reporting
pictures of any rubble?
Reported through Hamas that it was an Israeli strike on that hospital that killed those hundreds of people. The Israelis say that this is under investigation, and that there are reports this was a misfire on the part of Hamas. So there is various reporting happening here. What I can tell you is what Trey Yanks is reporting right now, that the Palestinians originally reported that the Israelis hit this hospital in Gaza, where hundreds were sheltering. Sources say there was a mass casualty situation. Trey went to gather more details. They've reached out to the Israeli military for comment, and the update is that the Israelis say they are investigating, but cannot confirm from where the airstrike came. Trey Yanks reporting on this says the region is clearly on the brink of a much larger war. Every piece of information must be critically...
And by golly, if we can make it happen.
In the videos, they are coming into us now. They are incredibly graphic, John. As it was reported initially, bodies thrown about the hallways of that hospital, people who were hunkered down and sheltering there. Trey said he's seen the videos and the ones and the reports that are claiming that this was a misfire on the part of Hamas. Hamas officials are telling us again that this was an Israeli strike. The Israelis are investigating. So we can't confirm right now, John. This is also through...
We can't confirm. We don't know. It's not, I can't, I won't. It's because It's not us. We didn't do it. United Airlines tumbles 8% after warning pricier fuel. War in the Middle East will cut profits. Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 145. So there you have it. Just because. That's just breaking across the ticker. I just wanted to read it. So now, so we don't know. We don't know. We're not sure. We can't. I won't. It's because, but Israel bad. We got that part down. Israel bad. Oh, by the way, Babylon B reporting on Joe Biden heading over to Israel. Biden departs for Israel to preside over opening ceremonies for World War III. Washington, D.C., the White House announced today that President Joe Biden will depart for Israel to preside over the customary opening ceremonies for World War III. Whenever a world war starts, tradition has it that the participating nations gather for a solemn ceremony that includes the lighting of the World War torch, presentation of each nation's colors, and like cocktails and hors d'oeuvres afterwards. Biden has been given the sacred duty of lighting the torch. We didn't start the fire. A task that was traditionally been assigned to the sitting U.S. president. And so he got ready to head out to take part in the national American pastime. You know, it's a real honor to be a part of this, Biden told reporters gathering on the tarmac. That nice, clean, articulate black fellow, what's his name? Barry. Yeah, he got to do this when he was president. And I was the assistant to the president, or whatever they call it. And I was always jealous of that. You know, as a little boy, I got to see all Woodsy Wilson light the torch for the Great War. It was a real cool thing to be part of. My butt's been wiped, he added, before stumbling back up the stairs into Air Force One. At publishing time, the pilot had locked the cockpit door after Biden poked his head in and made an airplane reference for the 5th time. Surely you can't mean that. I'm sorry, I had to break the monotony. So anyways, people who do this sort of thing have been breaking down all night long the video that has come out about the Israeli strike on the hospital, killing umpteen godzillions of children's of the cheering women and children hardest hit news at 11. So here is video purportedly of the strike as it happened from Israel looking into Gaza. Here we go. You can see rockets launching from Gaza in a stream. And then towards the end of the video, you see an explosion. I wonder what the second and the first dairy explosion. This says surveillance camera footage of Net TV Hezbollah shows large barrage of rockets being launched from northern Gaza, followed by a massive blast in the strip, apparently caused by a failed projectile. Another video from Al Jazeera appears to show the same failed rocket. So this is a different angle of the shot from Al Jazeera. Let's watch. There's no audio to these videos, by the way. There's surveillance footage or something. Appears that the rocket malfunctioned. And then they pan down. Boom. 2 explosions. Boom, boom. That was a mighty big explosion for a failed rocket launch. I have questions. Something doesn't add up. The math don't math to me. I'm not smoking enough of Joe Biden's son's crack pipe to actually accept this. So lastly, this video was published by Palestinian media outlet, purports to show the moment the blast at the Gaza City hospital. So here's this video. Akbar Akbar. Akbar Akbar offers half-price pork sandwiches and tenderloins during Ramadan. So that's supposedly the targeting of the hospital by Israel. See this, okay, unroll. Okay, now here is another feller who put together a bunch of stuff. This is geo confirmed. This guy takes pictures and videos and figures out, there's a lot of people out there on the internet that do this sort of thing. You could send them a picture from your backyard and say, locate me, and these people can figure out where you're at. I mean, you don't have to give any landmarks or anything. They figure out where you're at by geolocation. It's pretty amazing how these guys do this. Very talented people. That's what this guy does. So it says, geo-confirmed Israel-Palestine. A missile launched by Palestinian groups exploded mid-air, and one of the pieces fell on the Al-Ari Arab hospital yard. The yard. Before reacting, read the thread. Okay. This is one. Says, full record of the feed. You can see outgoing rockets fired at distance. We've already watched this video. The rocket is intercepted in the air and breaks apart. Now, he's saying that what happened is it got shot down, maybe by the Iron Dome or something. And then you see the multiple explosions there. We've already talked about that. It says confirmed other footage. This one was just before 7 p.m. local and possibly matches the location. That's the other footage. Okay, well, I'm going to go down right. Independently, they came to the same conclusion that the above footage was showing a rocket fail and breaking into pieces, one falling on the hospital. Okay. Here is the explosion at the hospital. Here is the geolocation. See the buildings. They've confirmed that things are all the same. That that's where this happened. This was the hospital or close to it. Analysis. New video shows rocket launching during the time of the Al-Arada Baptist Hospital in Gaza was destroyed, supposedly. The video shows one rocket either being intercepted or falling failed to explosions, followed by 2 explosions on the ground. So there you see it right there. It says geolocation of the strike of the hospital is in the footage. Now here is this is the tree. That's the tree. This is the building. That's the building. This is that building. This is this building. This is how they do it. They figure out where it is. This is where it hit right here. This is the hospitals. This is where it hit in the parking lot. Watch, you'll see this. There it is. More geolocation proving where it is. Again, more geolocation. This is a mosque right in the vicinity. Shows the mosque tower and all that. There's the tower right there. There's the tower right there. There's the dome. There's the dome. Again, geolocation. There's the explosion. This is this building. This building. So the explosion's that way. I think. It could be. I don't know. But this is the building right here. That's what they're confirming. There's another view of it. There's the mosque. Another view of it. Here he draws a map. This is where the explosion happened. This is where all these buildings that you can be seen in the view of it as you look towards the explosion. Okay. Now here is the surveillance video. This is the video I played for you a minute ago, showing it go off. It says surveillance camera footage from wherever that is. Net TV shows a large barrage of rockets launching from northern Gaza, followed by a massive blast on the strip, apparently caused by, but a failed projectile. That's a big boom and a secondary explosion too. Interesting. Again, confirmed locations with the towers, and it's pretty cool the way they do all this stuff. All right. So I don't think he's got any more here. Anyways, so they confirmed that it's a location and all that stuff. So was it a failed rocket attack? Was it Israel? Well, it has to be Israel because we got to get the whole world upset. We got to get World War III kicked off, don't you know? World War III, we need profitability is what we need. That's what we really need. And that's what we're missing here. We're not making a profit on this. Douglas McGregor says this: in Ukraine, Washington underestimated Russians' resolve and military power. Washington should not repeat this mistake by underestimating the potential for regional Muslim alliance, which could threaten Israel's existence. But God, the possibility that Israel could end up like Ukraine should not be discounted, except for God. But he's right, though. This government, this administration will underestimate their enemy's power. Here is, no, I'm skip that one. Sorry. Now here is Stitchfield talking about intel. This actually came, Aaron actually sent me this.
Folks, what I'm about to give you is confidential information that is being released thanks to sources inside the Chinese Communist Party. These sources are telling Miles Guo, the founder of the new federal state of China, that Israel will face a massive setup job when it goes into Gaza. Now, this information confirms my warnings issued last night on the Real America's Voice program, that I believe Hamas is looking to lure Israel into Gaza, and there will be all kinds of booby traps and improvised explosive devices. Now, this new information says these IEDs buried beneath the ground will be via remote control, and they are being dubbed as, quote, super bombs. That from these sources inside the Chinese Communist Party. Now, how does the CCP know about this? That's my biggest concern. The CCP knows about this because I fear they're working with Iran with the planning of all of this. These sources also say that after this happens, there will be attacks on Israel from nearly all sides of that country. This is a warning to the people of Israel, not to deter you, but to take precautions to prevent the attacks from happening and go in and then wipe Hamas out like never before.
So now you have CCP is working with Iran. Yes, so is Russia. Go watch my show, Mike at Night, from last night. For a lot of prophetic word. Yeah. Robin Bullock's prophecy. Yeah. He said, improvised explosive devices buried in the ground. A lot of secondary explosions going on around here. This is from a reporter from Al Jazeera. Says, I'm an Al Jazeera journalist, Frida Khan, working in Khan Yunis, Gaza, whatever. I saw with my own eyes that it was a Hamas Asan 250 rocket. It was a Hamas misfired rocket. Al Jazeera is lying. I have video of Hamas missile landing on hospital. It's translated from this down here, if you wanted to know. So there's a reporter from Al Jazeera. Now, Al Jazeera has since been reporting that it was a misfire. It was a misfire. Here's another geolocation. Well, I've covered that one. I'll skip that one. Think of time. This says, just adding a little fuel to the fire, it says, this is the Marine Expeditionary Unit that was in the Gulf to protect oil tankers from Iran. What's the plan for protecting those oil tankers now? Can confirm the Patan Amphibious Ready Group, including the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit, is heading to waters near Israel to defend. Two defense officials with knowledge of the situation say, we'll give U.S. military a force of Marines to hand on hand with a wide array of options and capabilities. That's what it goes on to say. So if they shipped the Marines and the fleet, because several ships went with this ship, from the Gulf that were protecting oil tankers from Iran. Who's protecting the oil rig? Who, it's not, Iran's never had a history of blocking the straits and causing mass problems. I mean, they would never do anything like that, would they? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking for a friend. Here's Ezra Cohen, and he says, in an attempt to deride Israel, the victim of a horrendous terrorist attack, high-anus terrorist attack, many of the news media rushed to publish false claims about a terrible Hamas strike on its own civilian population. Whatever their motive, the media threw fuel on an already tense situation, inciting further violence in the region. This has endangered lives of Americans, Israelis, and our allies. I pray for safety of the U.S. diplomatic community and military members in the region. Yeah, as I talked about on Mike at Night last night, as I was reading, as I was listening to various prophets who prophesied in the last several years and even in the last several months that there would be problems with embassies around the world. I looked at the headlines on Drudge, which, by the way, is no longer conservative. Iran warns time is up. Saudi Crown Prince snubs Blinken. Pentagon plans military response to Hezbollah. Day of unprecedented anger. This is over the hospital. It says, U.S. evacuates embassy in Lebanon after rioters set fire. That's new this morning. Fury spreads, protests erupt across the Middle East. Jordan cancels its summit with Egypt-Palestine leaders. That's the one that Joe got snubbed by. Warns Israel not to repeat U.S. mistakes on 9/11. Joe's trip is the risky of his presidency. Faces real danger. I doubt it. Horror. Medics surround dead children. Yeah. Are those dead children actually from the hospital? I'm asking for a friend because I don't know. Because we have no confirmation of that yet. We have their word against ours. I have pictures. Would you? There's no possibility that you would lie about those pictures? It says, this is totally bizarre. If Israel launches an onslaught while Biden is there, or the day after Biden departs, then the U.S. will be held responsible for any and all atrocities that Israel perpetrates, as if Israel's perpetrating atrocities. Guarantees 9/11 attacks on U.S. property. It says, on Wednesday, I'll travel to Israel and stand in solidarity in the face of Hamas' brutal attack. Then travel to Jordan to address the dire humanitarian needs. So Jordan, by the way, dire humanitarian needs. Jordan has canceled that. Nope, snub. Don't want you here. Don't want you here. Don't need you. Don't want you. Go away. Here's Joe arriving in Israel as he prepares to make those steps down them. Make it down. Oh, he made it. Oh my goodness. Can't believe he did it. Can't believe he made it. It's amazing. Here is protesters as they breach the embassy compound in the Israeli embassy compound in Amman, Jordan last night.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Shabab! Ta'alu ya shabab! Irja'u ya shabab!
The Agbu snack bar is now offering fried chicken shish kebabs wrapped in bacon, half off, right outside the embassy in Jordan.
Food! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
It's mostly peaceful protesting, mostly. Here is pictures of the German delegation as they evacuated their airplane because Tel Aviv was under missile attack at the time they were boarding their aircraft. They all got out and laid on the ground because reasons. This is the foreign minister, Amar Abdallah, Abaduba, Yabadabadu, whatever his name is, has arrived in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Now understand, up until this week, Saudi Arabia and Iran were deadly enemies. They hated each other. Yet they're now meeting together to discuss how they're going to get rid of the Israelis and the infidels over there in the United States of America. So this president has done everything he can to push together our enemies so that they can work together, more effectively and such. Here is the king. I think this is the king or one of the king's men. They're over there going, we have to take in the refugees. We have to take in the refugees. What's that song? I'm not a refugee.
To part of the question on the issues of refugees coming to Jordan, and I think I can quite strongly speak on behalf not only of Jordan as a nation, but of our friends in Egypt. That is a red line. Because I think that is the plan by certain of the usual suspects to try and create de facto issues on the ground. No refugees in Jordan, no refugees in Egypt.
No refugees in Jordan, no refugees in Egypt or Lebanon or Syria or Saudi Arabia or any of the other Middle Eastern countries where these people speak the language and practice the same religion. No refugees, they're saying. No refugees. Saudi Arabia had a bunch of refugees earlier this year trying to storm their border. They shot them all dead. No refugees. So what does presidential candidate Nikki Haley say? Nikki Haley argues to bring 1 million Hamas-supporting Palestinians to the U.S. from Gaza, where over 68% of the population supports terror strikes on Israel, because our border ain't screwed up already. So they don't want to take them over there. No, we can't do that. No. I'm going to tell you what's going on. I got sources, Justin. I don't need to go over there. I got sources called the Holy Spirit. You got to try it. It's pretty good. Get high on the Spirit. Oh, just keep trolling over there, Justin. You just keep commenting. Every time you comment, I get paid. Facebook's paying us now for that. It's pretty cool. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. It helps. So Nikki Haley wants to bring over 1 million Palestinians. None of the countries there they could walk to wants them. So we have to do it. Also breaking on the border, Fox News reporting, as of between October 1st and October 14th, more than 30 Iranians, boy, my numbers are skewed as theirs are, gazillions of children blown up in the hospital, nearly 60 Syrians, 35 Pakistanis, 285 Afghanis, and nearly 2,000 Chinese have crossed the border. Looked like I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing today. Quit sniffing glue. Where did you get them shoes and that dress? Anyways, moving on. I bet Justin doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Justin. Another penny. A penny here and a penny there. Next thing you know, old Jeb's a millionaire. It's not 10% for the big guy. I can't make money like that. I'm not that kind of grifter. I could just do it pennies at a time. So we got a porous border where 30 Iranians, what could go wrong? With 30 Iranians, 60 Syrians, 35 Pakistanis, and 285. How'd they get here? How'd they get there to south of the border? Did they swim? How did 2,000 Chinese get there? I'm just asking because I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Somehow, magically, they made it here. Somehow, they made it here, and nobody knows how. It's weird. It's like magic. But you got to ask yourself. You got to ask yourself. Ann Smith said this. Last 4 years, they've lied about COVID. They've lied about George Floyd and BLM, vaccines, Ukraine, January 6th, and the election. They're definitely telling us the truth about Israel-Arab conflict, though. This is serious, guys. No more horseplay. Mainstream media and pedo politicians have our own interest in mind this time. Yep. How'd they do it? It's weird, isn't it? So I got another border one here. So they don't want to take any of the Palestinians in the countries where they practice the same religion and speak the same language. But we're supposed to take 1 million of them here.
It's single military age males. People need to wake up, dude.
Does anyone ever hear the snake? Do you know the snake? It's a metaphor. It's so accurate, but it's not a snake. It's people that we're allowing into our country. Many criminals, people from jails, from mental institutions, terrorists. I think it's quite accurate. On our way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried. "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, "Thank you, ma'am," the snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." We're bringing in terrorists. That's what's happening. That's so accurate. It's so accurate. 15 million people, that's a lot. But we cannot wait until 2025 to begin stopping Biden's nightmare as a president and on the border. That's why I'm calling on congressional Republicans to ban Joe Biden from using a single taxpayer dollar to release or resettle illegal aliens into the United States effective September 30th.
$15 million, he said. That's that we know of. Well, they're not all bad people, I'm sure. One half of 1% of 15 million. Somebody do the math. Tell me how big that number is. If 1/2 of 1% of them had nefarious intentions. Go watch the movie Red Dawn. I bet they didn't even send that many people into this country in that movie, fictitiously. 1/2 of 1%. All it's going to take is a few dedicated jihadis screaming Ogbu snack bar, bacon burgers on sale, $3.25. to go into crowded at 75,000. Somebody's just posted 75,000 nefarious. If it's just 0.5%, somebody's got 750,000. 75,000, 750,000, 5,000, 1,000. Think of the damage they could do. So what I think went on with this bombing at this hospital, my opinion is this. Israel had nothing to do with it. The hospital's still standing. The kids were not killed. That's propaganda. Why? Because they're not showing the hospital rubble with the kids in it right there, where it can be geolocated. Everybody knows. Got these nice tight shots of these adults walking in. Oh, my arm hurts. There is video of the parking lot burning. I think that a missile or a rocket or whatever malfunctioned or was shot down, hit there, and you had a secondary explosion of whatever ordnance they were hiding at the hospital, because that's what they do. That's what they do, because they know that Israel hits the hospital, then they get the result that they got. That's what they wanted. I think in the coming days, we're going to find out that all of it was a lie and all of it was a scam on Hamas. And we may even find out that there was no missile hitting it at all, that they did it to themselves. Somebody was putting the bombs together and the Agbu snack bar is wrong. Oops. Standing there waiting on his 70 version dudes. How'd you get here? Premature detonation. When you listen to Stitchfield saying that they got bombs and IEDs and all this stuff buried all over the place waiting for the Israeli Defense Forces to come in. Right? That's what I think happened. I think that when this is all said and done, Jeff Dumman, that's what I was thinking of when I said it. We're going to find out that the story was not accurate. As a matter of fact, they would pile children into an area where they store weapons, where they launch rockets from, just so that when Israel retaliated, they'd have dead children, because they don't care about their children. Agbu snack bar. Half price pina coladas with your BLT sandwich. Do me a favor, check out my product, the Liquid BioCell. This will change your life. This is good for you. This is the best stuff on earth. I tell you what, it has made a difference for me, over the years of abusing my body. I found out that 52 things start hurting. Actually, prior to that, my wife told me to start taking this product, and it made a difference for me, and it might make a difference from you. If you're suffering, as I was, it's still am if I don't take the product. From the snap, the crackle, the creaking, and the pop, then this one product may make a difference for you. A spoonful a day chases the snap, the crack, the creaking, and the pop away. It does it with a collagen HA matrix technology. Collagen is the busting size. You see it everywhere. Your body used to produce collagen. As you get older, it doesn't produce as much, if any at all. The collagen's a building block for life. As your body tries to replenish itself, re-equip itself, it tries to restore its cells, or tries to store its hair, tries to nutrients in its skin and all this stuff. It needs collagen to do it. If your body is not producing it, or not producing it as much, then you start getting your wrinkled skin, your gray hair. You start getting the aches, the pace, the snap, the crackle, the creaking, and the pops. So let me help you with that. Order this right now. Go over to the Patriot Mike Show fan page on Facebook. Just go to Facebook, type Patriot Mike Show. Patriot Mike Show. While you're there, subscribe. Scroll down till you see my wife's beautiful face pinned to the top of the page and say, I want to know more about this product. We'll send you a link. No obligation. Send you a link. You go in there. You get only information we need from you is where we're going to send it to. and how you're going to pay for it. We're not trying to sign you up for anything. You don't have to watch a video. You don't have to become part of a company. It's just the e-commerce. Unless you want to. I mean, there's an opportunity there where you can get your own promo code and you can share it with your friends and families. 10 active customers will make you a couple $100 a month. That's not an income claim. That's math. If you want to know how it all works, you can send me a message. We'll talk about it. Go comment under my wife's pictures there. Also, don't forget about the OVA. The OVA is changing people's life. My wife says that the OVA has changed her life. It helps you with your PMS and your menopause, and it keeps those hormones at an even plane. Go check it out. And my wife says it's made her a new woman. It's given her more clarity of thought, more focus, more drive, more energy. She takes the OVA M, which is for the more mature ladies. So these two products alone will change your life in ways you'll never imagine. If you're a lady, if you're a guy, just to buy or sell. That's all you get. Sorry. And if you don't want to go over there, you hate Facebook, you can send me a text message to 660-620-2644 or email the patriotmikeshow@gmail.com. We'll send you a link, save you a few bucks off your first purchase. Look, there's a money-back guarantee. Got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Give it a try. You know, if you wake up every morning going, oh, and you go to bed at night going, ouch. Let's stop the ohs and the ouches. A spoonful a day. Now, back to the show. We're going to move on. We're talking about the House in the few minutes I have left. So they're trying to select Jim Jordan, Speaker of the House. It didn't go well for old Jim. The Republicans can't figure out what they're doing. Which is standard operating procedures. They've never been able to do that. The Republican Party exists to push the agenda of the Democrat Party. That's why they're here. That's why they exist. That's why they don't want Jim Jordan. Here is, as they are voting. Here we go.
Buck. Emmer.
Yep. So you got McCarthy and Scalise. If you put those two together, there's still not enough at this point. Here's how it wound up. Nobody got the majority. So there is no Speaker of the House. Yay. We haven't figured it out yet. What are they going to do? Oh, my Lord. What are we going to do? Panic Central. Panic Central. Here is Thomas Massey. He says, it's not hard to understand what's going on here in D.C. A vote for Jim Jordan is a vote to break the Congress's bad habit of passing bloated omnibus spending bills every year. Jordan is a threat to the broken way of doing things. And that's why he has my full support as Speaker, Thomas Massey. But on the other hand, on the other side of the aisle, you got Senator and famous carpetbagger, ex-governor of New Hampshire, who now doesn't really live in Utah, but since he's Mormon, he thought he'd run in Utah, Senator Mitt Romney.
You have people increasingly coming to Washington whose objective in staying in office is to make noise, not to make law, not to change things in a way that might be better for the country, but just to make a lot of noise and to show they're angry and fighting. I mean, right now, Jim Jordan, for instance, you've heard is running for Speaker of the House. My former chief of staff sent me a message today and said, you know, it's interesting. Here's a guy who wants to be the Speaker of the House. Do you know how many bills he's passed that he's authored? None. And how many bills that he's been a sponsor on? By the way, you get to sign up to be a sponsor of a bill. All right. And so, you know, I'm on lots and lots of bills.
Okay. I got a problem here. Just because you're passing bills doesn't make it good. You know, when you sign on to bills like Obamacare, you sign on to bills like these omnibus bills, when you sign on to big government gonna fix it all. when you sign on to giving gazillions and gazillions of dollars to Ukraine. Those aren't bills that I'd rather have no bills passed than those bills passed there, Mitch. So telling me that Jim Jordan, none of the bills that he's put forward that's ever passed the Congress, that could be a good thing. What bills did he put forward? Was it a ballot budget amendment? Was it term limits? Was it making it so that insider trading's illegal? What bills did he put forward? We don't know. I'd like to know that. Just the measure of a good, honest, American-loving congressman isn't how many bills he can pass working with his friends across the aisle. Socialism, communism, fascism, yay. That isn't the measure, Mitt. I know that you love to reach across the aisle and channel your inner John McCain, Mr. No Name. I know that you love to do that. I know that when you ran for president, you were shocked, I tell you, how the media just didn't fawn and love you like they love you now and like they loved you before you became president because you were a sellout piece of crap. Big government rhino. And they love you. Love him. Mitt Romney's so wonderful. I wish we had more Republicans like Mitt Romney. We wouldn't need an opposition party. They could just call them all Democrats. It would be great. Until Mitt Romney ran for president, then he roamed around with his dog on top of his station wagon and had binders full of women because he ran against their hero, Barack Hussein Obama. You're a sellout piece of crap. So frankly, I don't really care what you say. Go back to New Hampshire. But let's continue.
But I didn't write, but I'm a sponsor. None of the bills he sponsored has ever become law. So we're looking at electing a person who would be second in line to the presidency who's never passed a bill. But he's certainly well known because he's able to make a lot of noise. And that's the currency of the realm these days in politics, is finding a way to stand out and to be well known. And if I were to ask you the names of Congress people that you know, they'd almost all be people who don't actually do anything or pass any law, but they are very outspoken. And how does a democracy work? One, when the population is getting information that may or may not be accurate. And two, when the people that are most well known are those that aren't accomplishing things, but instead are performing. And so politics itself has become more of a performance art. I mean, President Trump, for instance, I mean, what is he good at? His background was performing. He was on TV. He was a WWF owner and would go out there with the wrestlers and so forth. I mean, that's what he did. And that's what has given him the prominence that he's received.
Donald Trump wins president. I don't get to win. He's leading in the poll. I never had that much kind of support. Shut up. What is he good at? You know, I know you're a gazillionaire too, but let's see. Donald Trump took a couple $1 million of like $10 million or so portfolio that his father left him, an inheritance, and turned it into multi-billions of dollars. He built buildings, big, beautiful buildings that usually gold gloss Trump on top of it. He built golf courses, famed golf. I bet you golf courses you've played on, with restaurants and services you've taken advantage of. He's done this around the world. When is he in? He had the top-rated television series for like 10 years. Destroyed it. Well, I'm not a fan of those kind of shows, so I never really watched it. But he had it. What have you done, Mitt Romney? You inherited a bunch of wealth. You walked around with your hand out, ran for governor, and then you became part of a hedge fund. So what experience exactly do you have? I can pass bills. I can put my name on bills and pass them and take more money and more power away from the American people and give it to myself for democracy. Yeah, that's what you're good at. Maybe Donald Trump's not good at passing bills. Maybe Jim Jordan's not good at passing bills, but by golly, we've got a big enough government as it is. We don't need any more laws unless you're passing laws to get rid of the mountains of laws we already have. That's what we need, Mitt. I have to run for Senate in Utah because the only thing I have for me is I'm a Mormon. And hopefully those dumb Mormon rednecks out there in Utah will vote for me, because no one in New Hampshire will, where I live and run for governor and was governor, because I'm a sellout to my own side, and nobody, not even the Democrats, like a sellout. Yeah. I'm not fond of him. I don't know if you've noticed. So what if they don't pass bills? That's a good thing, in my opinion. Glenn Beck went off last night on the Republicans, and this is what he had to say. I don't 100% agree with Glenn Beck here, but I don't 100% disagree with him either. Oh, let me put this big so you can see it.
The Republicans, thank you, Matt Gaetz, for this brilliant idea of getting rid of, and I want you to know, I was passionate as well. But if you listen back to this program, Stu and I were both saying, maybe a plan. They didn't have a plan. And now today might be the last chance to get somebody decent as Speaker of the House.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, Jordan is, I will say, closer than I expected him to get. I mean, I was pretty pessimistic they'd be able to get Jordan through, not because I don't like Jordan. I think he'd be a very good Speaker of the House, but just a lot of people don't like him. You know, and again, it's a lot of the people I don't like that don't like him.
Yeah,
you know, but again, they have their votes. These are real people in the conference that you have to deal with.
Stop being in third grade. I don't care if you like somebody or not. I really don't. I don't care if you like them. You're not going to go through life liking everybody. And stop thinking it's third grade and, well, I'm not going to give you my vote. Good heavens, grow up. The country is at stake. I want you to call your congressman today, this morning. They vote at noon Eastern time. I want you to call your congressman and say, what the hell are you doing? If you lose the House, if you compromise and give us some panty-ass wussy who's in bed with the Democrats, you're done. And I will take every dollar I have to fund competitors against you. I will campaign. I'll make signs. I'll put them in the yard. I will campaign against you. I will not forget. That's what I would say. But I would say it with a much more reasonable tone, but make sure they understand. You're done with me. And I and my friends will campaign against you. You vote for Jim Jordan today. Vote for Jim Jordan. Otherwise, what's your plan? The Democrats?
If you watched my show last night, Mike and Night, you see that I said what's happening in Israel is God. What's happening in Israel is God. And I'm here to tell you that I'm a firm believer that what's happening in our house, in our government, is God. And it's all connected. It's all the same. It's all the same. Let me so on Don Jr.'s show, Triggered, somebody asked him a question and he answered it.
He said he would be the gayest president ever or something. Who said, no. I think that spot's already been taken. Just ask Michael.
He'll be the gayest. That spot's the gayest president ever's already been taken. Just ask Mike. Big Mike. And I don't want to be like Mike. Okay, so we watched as Joe Biden successfully made it down the steps. Yay! But another bar has been reached by our Democrat friends across the aisle as they were voting in, trying to vote a new speaker in. That's right, Hakeem Jeffries. He did something so astounding. He got a standing ovation in the House. You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Watch.
Sounds like Ace Ventura. Oh, remember when they get to Jeffries? What? When they actually get to Jeffries and he votes for himself and he gets a round of applause for saying his own name?
Jeffries.
Here you go, John. Nailed it.
Yeah, he did it. He said his name. Let me tell you, with some of the people serving in Congress,
I don't think that's necessary.
Johnson of Georgia.
With some of the people serving in Congress, that's pretty good. Ain't that right, Fetterman? I mean, oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. What a world we live in right now. But you want to know something? You take all this stuff and you just add, but God. Because God's about to do something. Go, if you haven't seen my show, Mike at Night, it's everywhere. Go watch it. You'll find it. One of my socials, it's out there. Go watch it. It will open your eyes, I think, to what God is doing, because God is making a difference. God is making a change. And I believe that, I don't know if it's going to be today or this week or this month or this year or next year or when it is. I hope it's sooner rather than later, because this thing, I will bring America to its knees. But God's about to do something that the whole world will be shaken when he does it. And they will proclaim, the world will proclaim that there is a God in Israel and the United States. You wait and see. Mark my words. You guys have a great day. Patriot Mike is